Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're very lucky to have Brother Abdul Hamid. Brother Abdul Hamid, by the way, he's a doctor. He's an anesthetist, and he works at the just here near the Southern Cross Hospital. But he lives in Lower Hutt. We're very lucky to have him to keep us honest and also, to ask the hard questions. Because living in the Western countries for so many years, you tend to forget about a lot of things which are much more important than quality of life that we lead here. And may Allah accept his endeavors, and may Allah make us all good Muslims. Jazakumullah khair. So Brother Muridi asked me to talk about COVID-19. The other night I did very briefly touched on the viruses and the questions that's normally in the media and also in the social media mainly to do with the fact that is it man-made? Will the vaccines go into my DNA? Will they change my DNA because they are made up of DNA? And for so many other reasons, some of the reasons to do with the chips. Am I chipped? Bill Gates somehow is getting rid of the world population. That's another theory that's quite rife in the media. So all these things really are just misinformation. And the problem with the world nowadays is just everybody can write anything and anonymously behind the social media and can get away with it. But they can't say right in front of the people or in front of where it matters, where they can be challenged on. So viruses normally, they are the most abundant creation that Allah has made in this world. You have got viruses for plants, you've got viruses for humans, you've got viruses for animals, you've got viruses for bacteria as well. There are bacteria viruses that are known, we call them bacteriovages or bacteriovages, and they are used quite widely in science to identify some of the bacteria. The only way that you can identify some of the bacteria is by using through the viruses that live on them. So, and a lot of that is used in the medical field. So, why? We inhale or we eat millions and millions of viruses on every day. Through our food, through our plants, because they live on the plants. But they never got stuck with us. We just eat and they come out by other means, because there's no way they can attach to our cells. As I was saying the other day, those viruses have got like lock and key. If they have got that key, if they can open it to our body, then they can attach. And once they attach, they go inside the cells. And once they go inside the cells, they hijack our system. Because normally our cells do replicate like the viruses, and that's how we live. We eat metabolism and catabolism of our body, the food that we eat, that's how we use our food and break it down. So if those cells are hijacked by the viruses, then they produce more viruses rather than our cells. Does it make sense? So that's why you've got these, and if you've got the influenza virus that we always nowadays, every year you have to take, if you're of a certain age, you have to take influenza injection in the winter, before the winter in New Zealand. Why? Because that virus, influenza, came to the world in 1980s, in 1918, and estimation that it killed about 20 million of the world population then. Why is that? And because, it jumped from, as I said earlier, the viruses are plant viruses, animal viruses, human viruses. So when they jump from animals to humans, that's where they create the most damage. Why? because our body doesn't know how to fight it. It doesn't have any memory. It's the first time it has jumped from animals to humans. So for influenza, it was 1918. COVID-19, it came in 2019. That's where, but the problem with COVID-19, we don't know which animal it has jumped it from. We don't know. But the reality is humans are naive. Our immune system is very naive to it. So it's real. It has killed over 6 million and a half. I mean, you can just check up all that information on Johns Hopkins University. I mean, live updates on every day. I think with the internet, it's very easy to find it. Vaccines, are they safe? The vaccines are very safe. I mean, we use in New Zealand Pfizer, and in the United States, the main one is Moderna. Both these vaccines are on new platform, a new technology. They are based on the viral structure. When you see the viral structure, the spike proteins, the bit that touches on the cells of human cells, that bit has been taken in the lab, because nowadays we can, sequence any DNA, whether it's plants or animals. When China got the virus, within 7 days, already the diagnostic lab has been made in Germany. Why? Because the genes, there are a lot of platforms that people can, so the scientists share the genetic material. So once they know the gene, then they can straight away made it. And you might hear in the news nowadays, if there is the new variant, always the pharmaceutical companies can easily change the structure of the virus, and so easily, if it changes its structure, they can sequence it and they can make a vaccine against that bit. That's how the technology is enabling us to do, and that we have that capability as humans. But is it man-made? No, it's not. As Muslims, no one could predict complexity of this virus. Then the virus is very complex. The structure itself, how it interacts, and if you change that one DNA and one amino acid, what it will do, you cannot predict it. So, even though we have too advanced technology, but we cannot create a new creation. Only Allah can create. And that's very true, and the scientists know it. Although we are very advanced, we are still very stupid not to make those things. But people might ask why it has been happening in the lab. People can make viruses, there is a biological weapons and all that. It is true, yes. But what is that doing is just they are playing with the genes. Making experiments with something which already in existence. But they are not making a new stuff, because they cannot make new stuff. Only Allah can make new stuff. So if there is any, the latest research, if you have got 2 boosts, it's 40% of the new variant that you are protected. But if you take the 3rd one, 90% you are protected. That's the latest research that's showing that concept. So are there any questions about the safety or anything? Any? Jazakumullah. Thank you very much. Yes.